I've cooked once again, coming back to you guys again with another Odd Eyes deck profile, a more updated Odd Eyes deck for the new Rage of the Abyss format. So my last Odd Eyes deck profile video did pretty well. To me, that just sounds like you guys want more, and I've got more for you guys. So without wasting any more time, let's just jump straight into this deck profile. Starting off with our starters, all puns intended. We got triple copies of Skullcrest Joker. This guy searches basically everything in your deck. We also got 3 copies of Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. Searches a good amount of stuff in your deck, which also is searchable. Joker here. Also is a Monster Reborn for Fusion Synchron Xyz as well. Very great card. Max out on this. Got triple copies of Odd Eyes Seer. This card helps us loop this guy over and over again, and also helps us get access to more of our Performer Pal names. We'll be back to the Pendulum in just a moment, but we also have triple copies of Sky Iris because this card does search our entire deck. Most of our deck. And I also play 2 Dragon Shrine and 1 Terraforming, along with the 1 copy of Destrudo. So we are playing Ancient Fairy Dragon in this deck still. If you guys seen my last deck profile, you'd already know. Ravine basically just kind of helps act as more copies of Sky Iris. It's just more ways of searching our deck. Also, it could just dump Darkworm if you really needed it to, but that doesn't really come up that much. I decided to cut this down to 2 because, I mean, we got 1 Terraforming, 2 this, 3 Iris. That's like 6 copies, plus the set rotation that I cannot find. But set rotation is supposed to be here. I probably would have thrown it up over here by now, but I do not know where my copy went. That's it for all of our starter cards. I wish I could play like more Jokers and more Revolution Dragons, but we can only play 3 copies of stuff. I'm also playing 2 Arc Pendulum Dragon. 3 is just too many, but 1 feels a little risky, so 2 just kind of feels like sweet spot for the card. Whenever an Odd Eyes gets destroyed, you just summon another one from hand, deck, or grave. So this, gets us access to our Synchron directly from the deck, or Persona Dragon if we're going second to help break boards, or just loops Vortex Dragon. Very good card. I'm also playing 1 copy of Chaos Emperor Dragon still. This is our main way of getting into Dispatter, while also banishing cards from our grave to actually fuel the Dispatter. 1 copy of Monkey Board. This card still is a very weird card to me. Like, it's insane in some cases, but it's also very, bad because it takes up a scale. Like, if Monkey Board was, a spell card, it would have been miles times better. Probably still be banned if I'm being real with you, but as a Pendulum monster, it feels weird. Like, it's really good if you open this in tandem with Sky Iris, which you do have quite the number of copies of, but if you don't draw it, but you draw this as, your only way of getting the Joker, it just feels weird. Unless you got Butler in hand, which let's just go ahead and show off Butler. We do play 1 copy of that. Just pops an Odd Eyes card or Performer Pal and summons itself from hand or grave. Also has some weird scale effect where you can return on Odd Eyes from your grave to your extra deck to negate an attack and gain life point. It comes up sometimes, just doesn't come up all the time. So different from my last deck profile, I wasn't playing Persona Dragon, but decided to include it here because there are times where I'm going second and, people just for some reason let the Arc Pendulum resolve. So it's like, alright, well, I really wanted something good to summon off of it, because Synchron definitely isn't good going second, but Persona Dragon, however, is. So summon this baits out a negation. Yeah, you just keep comboing out from there. Play 1 Gentrude. We like to search this off Joker to pop with Sky Iris so we can get our Seer in scale. 1 copy of Valet. This guy just comes up for weird hands. It's kind of mandatory, kind of not. Play this card. It's like Draconid. I can't explain why it's good, but it's good. Pendulum Sorcerer. This is one of the worst cards to draw, as it kind of doesn't do anything until it's Pendulum Summon. It's like Harmonizing Magician, where it's it's really good, but not as a starter. Pendulum Dragon. Strictly style points. I mean, it can search something at end phase if we had enough gas to do that, but you guys don't need to play this card. Again, I'm only playing it for style points. Do not play this. Synchron. This card's insane, but you only play 1 copy of it, and it sucks to draw. Dissolver. It's our only way of properly summoning a Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, so we can loop it numerous times with Arc and Revolution Dragon. Gotta play it. Unfortunately, this is the number 1 worst card to draw in this deck. That's it for our monster lineup, besides 3 copies of Kashtira Fenrir, Yeah, it's just a 7. It summons itself from 3, gets you another Fenrir, so that's more 7s. It's insane in this deck. As for a non-engine, we've got triple Allure Darkness because we want consistency, double Triple Tactics Talents, and 1 Called by the Grave because I do not like hand trap. And that should be a 40 card main deck. Now, off to our extra deck. We've got 1 copy of Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. If you're properly summoning this, you're only going to need the 1 copy. Yeah, you just need 1. You don't need 2. Not like you did before, but even then, I don't think you summoned 2 before, but I digress. Ancient Fairy Dragon. Again, we use this to get to Sky Iris, but we can also get to other field spells if for like future versions of this deck that I might come up with. Yeah, play this. Meteor Burst Dragon. I don't think we were playing this before, but we're playing this now, and you're going to see why in just a second. Meteor Burst, or not Meteor Burst, Ignister. It hard to out monsters like Colossus. It doesn't out towers though. So it's up to you if you really want to keep playing this or not, but it's good. It's alright. I bought an ulti of it, so I'm kind of forcing myself to play it. This pattern, I'm still playing this card. It's just really good. And the reason why we are playing the Meteor Burst, Arms of Genix returns 0, sorry. So we can actually put all 6 attributes in grave for this guy to get multiple negates off of this. This card is insane. Get your copies now. They're gonna go up in price. We got 1 Magister Paladin. Just searches a pendulum at end step because we can make a random rank 4 during our combo. Absolute Dragon, he is a water. I should probably mention that Meteor Burst is a fire as well. But this guy can also get us into this guy, which gets us more attributes engraved, especially with like Rage of the Abyss coming out. I don't know if the water stuff's good or not, but I don't know. We'll have to find out. I'm playing 2 copies of Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord because, fun fact, you can just make 1 and put 1 on top of that. I don't know how I missed that. I don't know how I didn't realize that. But this is so much easier than having to put 2 level 7 dragons on board to make Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon and then make this guy. No. Just play 2. Just hard make 1 and then rank 1 on top of it. Yeah, I hate it here, dude. And finally, we have 1 Typhon. It's okay. It's alright. I mean, it's not as good because we don't have like cards like Savage and Baron to try and deal with anymore because, I mean, they had 3,000 attacks, so since those are gone, there's not really many inboards that have monsters with 3,000 or more attacks, so it's kind of like, if you've got the space for it, sure, play it, but don't go out of your way to play it. And then for our links, we have Beyond the Pendulum, just 1 copy. I never needed to have 2. We can also loop it back with this pattern as well. 1 SP Little Knight because this card is insane. Banish something. When it comes back, gives you 2 sideways arrows in your main monster zone so you can pendulum summon more. This card is just specifically crazier in pendulums than in any other deck. And finally, 1 Exceed the Pendulum. This card's just better Selene. Alright, that's it for the extra deck. I think this is like around 13 or 14 cards. With the banning of Appaloosa, or actually this is 14 cards. So with the banning of Appaloosa, I just kind of have like 1 random extra deck slot left. Speaking of, that does not hurt this deck at all. Instead of going Appaloosa, you just go for the SP turn 1 now. Yeah, this deck didn't really, hurt losing Appaloosa. Plus, we kind of have like a new Appaloosa now. So anyways, off to the side deck. So for our side, before we were playing triple Lava Golem, but now we are playing Sphere mode. Reason why we're playing Sphere mode now is because Lava Golem is a fire. I'm not trying to throw a fire on a Snake Eye board. No, sir. I'm also playing double Druid Swarm and 1 Magnemite. Because, fun fact, we are playing dragons like Revolution and Chaos Emperor. Also, Puppet Lock and Branded is very cringe. Konami, please ban Sanctifier. That is the problem card. This card is going to be really insane for Pendulum decks. We got triple copies of Molchame Fuolos. I do not need to explain what this card does. It is Max C2, but if you guys cannot afford copies of whatever this guy is, I would highly recommend just playing Phantasmi instead. He kind of achieves the same thing as Fuolos. Granted, not as good, but you're going to be using this against Snake Eye, so it does what you need it to do. Just make sure you don't play cards like evenly with it because he's going to be on field, so you're going to be controlling a card. Also, back to the topic of budget alternatives. With SP, I think it's absolutely mandatory to have a copy of SP for this deck. I mean, as crazy of a card as it is, you only need 1 of it, so I would just go ahead and just pick up a copy for whatever price it's at now because it's just too good. It's too good. I also have triple copies of Deck Lockdown. This completely shuts down Snake Eyes. It is a Jolan Lockbird and a you can't special summon from deck as well. We can also get rid of it ourselves, but I completely forgot 2 cards in the main deck. Okay, so the 2 cards in the main deck I forgot were both Dark Worm and Gate Zero. We can search this off of Revolution Dragon, and you could play the Gate Magician if you wanted to. I just prefer the Gate Zero because this also like helps cheat out our Meteor Burst Dragon, which is a fire that we can use return Gen X, because we got to banish the attribute from grave, so this just helps get us access to that. Also, it could also pop our deck lockdown if we need it to, so we can just pen summon it out, pop the deck lockdown, and we can just alleviate ourselves from the lock on this. So these two are supposed to be in the main deck. This ratio I think is pretty good, but you guys could experiment with a bigger Supreme King package, or if you want me to do that, leave that in the comments down below. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe while you're at it. And then finally, for more going first cards, we got Zephyr Divine Strike and Zephyr Nui. And for our going second card, we got a nice crisp copy of Odd Eyes Fusion. If you guys seen my Odd Eyes deck profile from before, you'll know that I use this to loop Lava Golem a bunch of times, but since we're not playing it now, it's not as needed. Honestly, you could get away with not playing this and just playing like Gatling Ghoul, but when we get to a format where Snake Eyes is not popular, then yeah, we could just go back to playing, triple Lava Golem and 1 Odd Eyes Fusion. But until then, you could easily swap this out for something else, like another Druid Swarm. And that is 15 cards in our side deck. I'm gonna show you guys the basic 2-card combo that this deck can do. This deck puts out a ridiculous amount of disruptions and can play through a decent amount of hand traps. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. Alright, so here's our basic 2-card combo. It is just Odd Eye Seer and Revolution Dragon. It could be a combination of like Joker and Sky Iris, or Joker or these two, but Iris and a combination of these two doesn't quite work unless you have another card you can pop. Then in case that will work, but usually a combination of any of these 2 cards gets you to where you want to be. So going to go ahead and start off with Revolution, paying 500 to search out Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. You're going to go ahead and scale these 2 cards, trigger off Seer's effect to pop itself, and add back Revolution, which triggers off Arc Pendulum Dragon to summon out Odd Eye Synchron from your deck. Going to go Revolution again because this is not once per turn to search a level 8 or lower Dragon Pendulum. Then you're going to normal summon Dark Worm, using Dark Worm's effect to search out the Gate Zero. Then you're going to take these 2 guys. I'm just going to throw these guys up here so I can just access my extra deck easier. Beyond the Pendulum. Beyond the Pendulum is going to pay 1200 life points to search out Chaos Emperor Dragon. Scale Emperor Dragon. You're going to go ahead and Pendulum summon out Gate Zero from your hands. Synchron, specifically, and Seer. You gotta summon these 2 guys from your extra deck. Activate Seer's effect. Make sure this is also in defense position. You're going to foolish a copy of Pendulum Sorcerer. Then using the Seer and Beyond the Pendulum, you're going to link these 2 cards off for a copy of Exceed the Pendulum. Exceeds the Pendulum effect, grabbing back the Odd Eye Seer, so you have a Odd Eye's name in hand. Then you're going to activate its second effect, summoning out Sorcerer from the graveyard. Make sure it is out of this zone. Now you're going to use this effect, popping your 2 scales to search both Odd Eye's Dissolver and Odd Eyes Butler, but it could be any name. You could also search Monkey Board here. Yeah, it's really up to you what cards you want to add off of this. We're going to go ahead and scale the Dissolver, and then activate Dissolver's effects using the Butler and the Pendulum Sorcerer on field. We're going to make a Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, and then because we have a Light and Dark Engrave, we're going to banish those 2 to summon the Chaos Emperor Dragon from our extra deck. Then using Chaos Emperor Dragon does go to the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. And Synchron, we're going to make this patter. Then we can go this patter, summon back the Synchron that just banished itself. Apologies for the glare here. Then we can go Odd Eye Seer, summoning out the Dissolver, and then immediately Synchro summoning with these 2 to make our Arms of Genix return 0. So this is where actually having Monkey Board would be better at, but we didn't draw the Monkey Board, or we didn't search it, so we're going to go ahead and scale Seer. Then we're going to go Gate Zero, popping itself in Seer to summon out Meteor Burst, so we have a Fire Engrave. Then we're going to link these 2 off into the SP Little Knight. So just off 2 cards, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 disruptions. It's up to you if you really want to count these disruptions, but Light and Darks are pretty popular. Fire is also pretty popular as well. If you guys want to see the combo that puts all 6 attributes in grave for this guy, leave that in the comments below and I will make a combo spreadsheet video. Also, I will talk about all of these cards as well as potential cards we could play in the deck, but you guys need to like this video, share this with your friends, and subscribe so I know that you guys really want to see this video. And until next time, I'll see you gamers later.
Who the fuck thought making my link 0 like this was a good idea?